My only lookout is that how do we get prepared for that? When I say we, I mean the educators, because we are going to provide all kind of advantages to our students. It is going to be more student centered. It is going to be more individualized. But then the big question is, how do we prepare for that? Because we are talking about uh, a paradigm shift in the whole teaching learning scenario.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ma'am, if you have to say one line about this paradigm shift, what is that big shift that you see today? Because I'm sure you have been leading an institute, and wherever you have gone, you would have collectively got so much insights. What is that big shift that you see from a 20th century learner to a 21st century learner?
We were talking about integrating technology into education. We were
Yeah,
talking about ICT. I mean, being in an international school, we have the privilege of that there is ICT, there is integration of technology. But now we are talking more about AI. And
right.
we are talking more about giving importance to individualized learning, and
Absolutely.
where the whole concept of active learning, differentiated learning, holistic development, these things are going to come in. So as
Absolutely.
educators, we first need to get a grasp of all these ideas, methodologies, pedagogies, what we are talking about.
Don't you think it's a very far-fetched thing? But setting up the tone, I think this is the right statement for us, ma'am. I think you've spoken very, very higher achievement, things for all of us. But yeah, I think that is the way to go ahead. Thank you for setting up that tone. Sudhi sir, if we could have just one introductory line from you, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, sir, for a lovely start and an introduction. I think the way I look at NEP as a process or as a document, it's a beautiful marriage between the past and the future. That's the
Right.
way I would like to look at it. While it brings us back to a lot of fundamentals and grassroots level changes that we always had in the ancient education system, and at the same time we are trying to embrace what is lying ahead in the forms of generative AIs and the entire virtual world of the thing. I think what we need is to appreciate the past, appreciate the foundation and the basics, and embrace the new technologies and the new changes to create a wonderful world for tomorrow. I guess that's exactly the task for every educator across the world first.
Absolutely. And I also see there is a big gap in what the technology could do and how we are skilling our children, right? I think I want to ask these important question to all of you, and I'm sure once we have those insights, we will also have like a open question answer round towards the end of the conference. So all of you need to stay tuned because there are going to be a lot of insights. So I have some specific questions that I have prepared for all the panelists. So I will be asking those questions. And in case you feel you want to add something, feel free to raise your hand, panelist, and we would like to welcome your thoughts also. So my question to Sudhir sir is, since you've been talking about digital tools and digital pedagogy, the new pedagogy, how can digital tools improve the educational outcomes in the NP 2020? And maybe if you could also say out some tools that all of us could use in our day-to-day lives.
See, practically, if you take a look, the entire overall education scenario and the complete format in which we've been operating schools, I think for last 6, 7 decades, or maybe even more than that, something that we've been doing from the industrial age days. I remember having conducted a recent training program for teachers across our schools. And I
Right,
could literally give them the journey that the classrooms have had, or maybe the schools have had in the last 7 decades. From the time when most of the panelists that I have with me right now, from the days when we went to the school and to the time where we are standing today, there is a drastic shift. There is a dramatic change that has happened.
right,
While we all realize it, I think somewhere either we are bounded by the process or the policies and still the guidelines, etc., which are there, or maybe there is a little bit of reluctance to change. I mean, I would not say little bit. There's a lot of reluctance to change and embrace the change. We all know it for a fact that the textbooks that we've been studying from for all these years are absolutely redundant today.
Hmm.
While textbooks earlier were a source of knowledge and learning, today they are a limiting factor. If you are to ask any child anything about any topic today, every possible information on any in any textbook of the world is available on the click of a button on Google or Chat GPTs of the world today. So don't know what is it that we are preparing our kids for when we limit their knowledge and exposure to a particular textbook or a syllabus for any particular subject. And
Right.
that's the reason I think what is needed is a very hands-on approach, a very practical approach to what the needs of the tomorrow's market and the world are, which is definitely dominated by a huge amount of technology,
Right.
from a restaurant to food delivery apps of the world to the grocery buying places to a mall and shopping malls. Everywhere you see digitization. Every child at the age of 5, 6, 7 is today handling a device, whether it is for learning or for having the nitty-gritties of his life and stuff. So it's the technology age which is lying ahead of us, and we need to be preparing our kids to be prepared for embracing this change and at a pace with which this is coming. One of the key aspects of technology is that it changes dramatically. I mean, if we just look at the last 2 decades, we've come from the pagers to the mobile phones of Nokia to a smartphone to maybe the days are not far off where we will have the wearable technology, and the handsets that we hold today will be the things of the past. So, I mean, over a period of 1 decade, 2 decades, I think that's the world that we are going to witness. And in such a scenario, what is need to be taught inside the classroom is how to learn and how to embrace this new change. And it's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
not about what to learn and where to learn it from. What is always available on the click of a button, where
Right.
the devices are in your hands. It's just about how to go about your doing. Today is a scenario where you have an overload of information and knowledge. It's your ability. How do you pick it up? How do you utilize? How do you make sense of it and critically analyze everything and use it to the best of your advantage and knowledge. I think that's the
In
job.
my experience, thank you, Sudhi sir. Thank you. In my experience, wherever I have gone and spoken to teachers and educators, I've always said we've had our favorite teachers. All of us had our favorite teachers, and we used to love them for the content that they knew. Right? My teacher is, the smartest, and she knows everything. But today, I don't think any one of us would respect our teachers only for the content, right? So there are some tools that are really, really available, which could help to improve the learning outcomes. And in a classroom, like Sudhir sir said, there is a time that we shift from our traditional way of teaching to the new way of teaching. Another question for you, Sudhir sir, is uh, what are some of the challenges that you see schools usually face in adopting the e-learning platform across the educational board? So I'm not talking about CBSE or ICSE or any state board. All the schools across the state, across the country. What kind of problems do you feel they see?
I think I'll first make a quick little remark on your statement. We never had a favorite teacher for the content that she had. I've
Okay.
always said in my training, education and teaching. So
Hmm.
teaching is always 30% content and 70% dramatics.
Right.
That is the way I've looked at education always. It's
Hmm.
about how the teacher delivers. It's the
Right.
style of delivery of a teacher that
Right.
makes it the great teacher that he or she is, that engages the children, and that makes you the favorite teacher, etc. And that is linked to your next part of the question as well. When it comes to the use of e-learning tools or e-learning teaching methods, etc., it's once again the ability of a teacher to utilize those tools. It is often said in the education conferences and webinars and seminars that I've been a part of that technology cannot replace the teacher. While it is said that, it is also said that a teacher with it, equipped with a great technology will definitely replace a teacher without technology. So that is the world which is lying ahead. What is it that is stopping? What is it that is a reluctance? I think that comes from the point that people it's a human characteristic, it's a human tendency that we always try and avoid change, whether it is our society, community, family, school, any circles that we are a part of. We always are a little complacent and comfortable in the space that we have been living in. And therefore, every time, whenever you talk about any massive drastic change, the first human reaction always is reluctance. And I think that is what our industry also is experiencing. While all the other fields of life, whether you talk about any corporate segment, there is the massive amount of digitization, whether it is insurance, banking, anywhere you go. Education, I think till COVID times, we were still struggling. Thanks to COVID, a blessing in disguise, we have taken a giant leap. There has been a lot of reluctance, even though after it being necessitated by the need of that particular hour that we all had to do it. So a lot of teachers have come a long way in embracing that technology. So I think it's a matter of time before people really realize that there is no abstaining from it or avoiding any of this. It will become slowly, I think, thanks to NEP and a lot of other initiatives. Technology has become a part of now a fundamental teacher training program. The new generation of teachers who are coming are already equipped with the best of teaching aids and technology. So I think it's a matter of time. Maybe that generational change which is going to come up is something which is going to pave the way for more and more acceptance and adaptation of technological tools inside the classroom, and maybe uh, beyond the classroom as well, where things are being exchanged on a virtual and digital platform as well, whether it is through ERPs or apps or learning platforms or LMSs or anything of that sort. I think anything and everything will have its own space with be it virtual reality, augmented realities of the world. It's about people getting used to it, people getting trained on it. There will have to be a lot of investment in the entire training process, which I'm sure over a period of time will happen and yield its own fruits.
Awesome. I think if I have to just think of one word to and correct me if I have chosen the right word, can I say the mindset and the adaptability of people? So these are
Well, of course, yes. I think you're absolutely spot on. It's all about, to me, it's all about mindset. How
yeah,
much are you ready to change?
right, right, and that mindset only will. I think the early adapters and the late adapters and the people who would follow would also have to understand the mindset in which they are embracing the new technology. Thank you for that insight. My next question is to Rajput sir. Sir, you have been in the education industry and you have the industry, you have cross industry experience also. So, how can partnership with industry enhance the technological
It's going to
integration in
support
school?
the sound, chapter sound.
Okay, excuse me, somebody speaking. Okay. So this is a very good question. What you have said about their partnership, no? So I will like to highlight it here that the technology is going to help in two ways. One is it is going to access to expertise and the resources which is available there. So industry partners can provide the schools with the access to the latest technology, tools and resources. Just now, what Mr. Kukreja has said, because lot many things are available there. So then industry has to ensure that part. Today, let me tell you example. Right, today when we take a person in the professional world, they are not ready to see the 100 PPTs, frankly speaking, right? Because they are the Gen Z has come, right? It is not a Gen Millennium and all. They want an immediately fast one which is required so that they can grasp the thing and they can provide the thing. So that industry is also changing it and helping it that what is the basic thing which is required. This is point number one. Point number two, it is the professional development opportunities, because when we collaborate with the industry, we provide the training, the workshop, the way we require the people. That is the way that we are able to inculcate and we are able to develop the professional which we are going to require. Either they are a job seeker or either they are a job provider. This is the point number two. The point number three, which is comes in my mind, that is the industry can also guide the career pathways, right? Because what are the basic things are required? Let me give example to you. I'm not saying, don't mistake me. Today, we all have learned the trigonometry, right? Sine theta, cos theta equal to tan theta. I have not utilized this particular trigonometry after my 12th, right? I'm just giving one of the example, but I have utilized the basic requirement of the skill, basic requirement of the ensuring the digital technology which is required. We are talking about the AR, we are talking about augmented reality, so many things we are talking about. So industry can imbibe the thing. Today, we talk about the industry academia collaboration. It is very important. Then the industry leader should come and they should teach or they should give hand-holding part or they should mentor or coach the entire group of the school that what is the basic requirement, because they are building them for the coming 10 years of the time. And you know that every 5 years, the things are going to be changed. Today, you know that there are 31 robot teachers are there in India, right? In India, 31 robot teachers from Bangalore to Hyderabad, sorry, Bangalore to Pune and one or two other countries. So the things are getting changed. So we have to adopt, and industry has to become a partner for the educational institutions.
Right. I also feel a lot of B.Ed colleges should send teachers for internship. I mean, it is a very, very personal view, but teachers who
You are
are
right.
studying in
So
the
you are right.
college, yes,
You are right, because they will be able to imbibe the thing. See, that's why during the time of Corona, we used
yes,
to say learn, unlearn, and relearn. Now gone are the
absolutely,
days. Now it
yeah,
is update and upgrade.
absolutely,
Right.
right.
So the teachers has to update and upgrade themselves. What is the basic requirements are there, right? And this is the requirement of the director or the principal of the school to go along with them, to be there to ensure and have a session once in a month. What are the new things are going to be there, which is going to help to the student from the basic level to the highest level.
I think also in the light of NEP, it says the teachers have to be trained for 50 hours of training. And I think once we have the industry expert who could come share their experiences with the teachers in the classroom. I'm sure they will have exposure to a lot of professionalism out there. Till now, I think we are not treating teachers as professionals, right? Which is a very, very wrong thing. Teachers are absolutely professionals, and they spend a lot of time, energy, and effort in the school. I see Sarah ma'am is just smiling on that. But trust me, once we have industry experts who could be there in the school ecosystem, it will give them a lot of understanding of what's happening outside the school, what is really required for a job. How do you appear for an interview? What kind of professional etiquettes do you need to carry? What kind of maybe you should also have etiquettes, general etiquettes. I think all these things are very, very basic things for all the professionalism, and I think that could be really helpful.
Sir, the
I'm
mind has to be, I will take one more minute. The mind
Please,
is
please.
having the five important parameter. The
Yes,
one parameter we will talk about the IQ, intelligent quotients, right? Which all have. Today, all
yes,
the students which are coming, they are having the excellent IQ. But now the question is, what about the four others? The four other
yes,
is EQ, emotional quotient. As a person, when you become a professional, how
right,
is your emotional quotient is important. The second is the SQ, society quotient, because if you are not able to deal with the society to the next person, how you are able to take the thing. Then the thing is adversity quotient, which is again very important, because you cannot get the entire path full of roses. There will be a lot
yes,
of thorns are there. And the last one is the creative quotient. Today, as a professional, when we like to take any person, we like to see that this person is going to be a pillar for us, or he is going to be a simple filler for us. So nobody
yeah.
wants to have the filler, and everybody wants to have a pillar.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Also,
sir.
I think Sudhir sir pointed out on how can we get the best technology to our school if we have industry collaboration. I think these are the ones who have been pioneer in using all the technology. If you look at medical industry, if you look at pharma industry, if you look at airline industry for that matter, all these industries have been pioneer in using technology. If we could have those industry collaborations, I'm sure they would bring a lot of exposure to our schools also. My second question to you, Rajput sir, is what are the key benefits of industry academia collaboration in the context of NEP 2020? So we've spoken about few. Maybe if you could also think about some more, and I think throw some light on that, please. You're on mute, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So first point, we have already spoken about a very important point, that is the academia industry gap, which we have just now spoke about it.
Right, right,
Second thing is enhancing the employability and the job readiness, because it provides the opportunity to gain the real world experience, develop the job ready skills, and understanding the industry expectation. This is the point number two. Coming to the point number three, ensuring the innovation and research, which can drive the innovation by facilitating the exchange of the knowledge, expertise, and the resources which are there. So the joint research product can help both the ways together.
right,
Creating entrepreneurial ecosystems, sir. Right, today we talk about that.
yes,
We don't want simply a leader. We want a entrepreneur mindset, right?
absolutely,
And that is the way the industry can build the entire system toward that particular requirement. Then I already spoke about the SQ part, societal changes, because the people, they are in the apartment, they don't understand what are the other emotional questions are there. So in that way, when they work in the group, they will come, they will understand that how to deal with the junior, senior, or the different type of people. Suppose I am from North and I have to respect a Malayali, how I should be respecting a Malayali, how I should be ensuring. Tomorrow you don't know that tomorrow your boss will be a lady. Right? Today you have not given respect, but you have to respect the lady female. That's why we talk about the gender equality. So the industry is going to tell about the gender equality, which is again the need of the hour. Few of the things are there. Internship and apprentice are going to give a lot of the things which is really required. Today, I am a part of multiple universities and the advisory board. So we keep on talking about the soft skills requirement, right? We keep on talking about what is the new ways that you are going to tackle the situation, how you are going to see the situation in a different perspective, which is very important. So in that way, this is going to help in a bigger way and major way. There are multiple questions because today when they learn there in the college and the universities, they're not able to crack that particular interview. What the interview, the questions will be asked. So as an industry specialist, you will be able to understand the thing. Suppose I want to become an engineer. So I should not be talking to my peer group. I should not be talking to my neighbor or my relative. I should go and talk to the person who is the helm of that particular engineering segment. So that person will tell you which are the ways are there, what are the roadmaps are there which is required, and what should not be done in that to achieve the position. This is the way we keep on teaching, which is the real requirement today.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that, sir. So my next question is to Prasad, sir. Sir, how can blended learning model cater to diverse student needs in the different educational frameworks? Since you come from an education background and we also learned you have such diverse experience. So how do you think this blended learning could help our students?
So, good evening, sir. Good evening, all of you.
Good evening.
Yeah, we're talking about the challenges based on NEP 2020 and what are its other effects and how we can implement those all things. So, for
Yes.
my co-panelists, they're given very good insights. Thanks for those things. And coming to this blended learning, yes, sir. Previously, nowadays, we are using all high-level smartphones, or maybe we are using devices like laptops or many more things like that. All devices are high levels, I can say that. But now still, there are so many schools who are using only the blackboard. So they apply some black paint and they write on that. So those kind of things are still happening. Children are equipped with the technology. Children are equipped with so much of science and knowledge. So still, if you use such kind of methods, there will be no use, and the students will not start loving the teacher or the school also. So we need to have integration of technology in the field of education. Okay, and that is very much required. And the teacher should be a tech savvy. And again, for this, the blended learning is very important. So immediately switching over to a particular video or a particular PowerPoint presentation and throwing a quiz on the devices of the students if it is available. Okay. Otherwise, online quizzes, online support materials by taking that and using is really going to make a big change in the students' understanding levels like that. So we have to invite the technology, and at the same time, the learning should be blended. Both so when we talk about this blended learning, we may talk about the only virtual or maybe the classroom kind of teaching also. Even in the classroom teaching also, we can use the technology and we can make the things happen in very easy manner like that. This is what I feel about that.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Um, my next question is of course related to what we have spoken about, but if you could also highlight maybe, or you could share some effective methods for teachers training in the digital tool to support the NEP 2020 objective. So maybe just your thoughts on what could be different effective methods on training teachers on the digital tools. How can we train our teachers, sir, on the
So there
digital
are
tool with the NEP 20?
yeah. there are so many digital tools are available. Okay, so one thing is the teacher should start making use of those things in an effective manner like that. So teacher will have to update by themselves.
Right.
For example, online quizzes we can say that. And I generally everywhere I use the puzzlemaker.com. So such kind of websites they have to go that, and online methods are also there. Those things if the teachers if they equip that, so their job will be easier and it will become more beautiful also. So usage of technology they have to invite. Previously, my panelist was saying that one technology in the field of education, there are so many robots also there in the field of education, and the big doubt for the teachers is uh, whether technology will replace the teachers or not. Our co-panelist had given very beautiful manner like that. So technology may not replace the teachers, but the teachers with the technology will replace the teachers. So that
Right.
is the reason they have to update these all things like that. See, there is no single platform or single virtual method or mechanism so far we are using that. We have to
Right.
update ourselves. So once we update that, the teachers will be able to make use of the digital tools in an effective manner.
All right. I'd like to take a pause here and just check if we have our distinguished guest, Dr. Vidya Sagar ji, with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your giving me time. If I can say something.
Absolutely, sir. But if you allow me 30 seconds, I'll quickly share your introduction with our audience.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. So it's again my pleasure to introduce the visionary leader in the field of education and technology, Dr. Vidya Sagar Aburiji, the chairman and managing director of Aventel Limited. He holds a PhD in management science from Jawaharlal Nehru Technical University, Hyderabad, completed in 2008. His educational foundation in finance was established with an MBA from Osmania University, Hyderabad. Dr. Abree's technical prowess is rooted in MTech in microelectronics from prestigious IIT Kharagpur. His academic journey began with BTech in electronics and telecommunication from Jawaharlal Nehru University. Uh, and of course, we are very, very fortunate to have Dr. Aburi as a distinguished guest speaker for our discussion. Sir, welcome. And please feel free to share your thoughts. We are very excited to learn your perspective on technology, NEP, and what you've been doing. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Uh, Actually, it's a great learning experience to listen to all the panel speakers here. They shared a lot of things from their experience in this field for for quite some time, and I'm very happy to be here and listen to all of them. So I'm not actually an educationist. I'm an entrepreneur in the technology domain, in the aerospace. Because I am an entrepreneur, for my own survival, I have to do one thing, that is learn new things every day. So, so the day I stop learning, I will not be able to run this company because the changes in our domain are so fast. So I have to keep myself updated so that I can lead the company. So learning is a must for me every day.
Right.
Having said that, I would say that in my research topic also, as I brought out, there are four things I keep telling my colleagues which are very important for that continuous learning. Here, our first thing is you should enjoy your learning. Okay, so you should find that learning process itself, joyful. Then the second thing is you should actively seek learning. I mean, you should. It's not passive. You should actively get involved in the learning process. The third part is we should learn how to learn. Then only you can learn effectively in the given time. And the fourth part, which is very, very important according to me, is collaborative learning.
Right.
I learn a lot, not by reading or something. I learn a lot from talking to others who are professionals, experts in our field. We learn from our colleagues who are actually working on the table every single day. So, so that way, the learning is happening through collaboration. So I think these four aspects are taken care of. I'm sure it will be very effective learning. So in my thesis and all that, after seeing many learning theories and learning models, one thing caught my eye, that which I was very impressed is that the best learning happens when the student is in the state of relaxed alertness. He should be relaxed and he should be alert. So for that state of mind to reach, there could be many ways, including mindfulness, which is taught in the Delhi schools, I guess. I believe they are, the government in Delhi in the happiness schools and all that. So they are also asking students to be mindful and all. But more than that, now the topic is about technology-based learning and how to bring about the transformation in that. So the relaxed alertness can come from project-based learning. If you want to just put it in one simple sentence, it's project-based learning, which is multidisciplinary. See, the best of the discoveries that had huge impact in the world, that changed the world, in fact, all of them, whether it is a DNA or proteomics or anything you take, I mean, you name it. This could be internet or mobile phone or image processing or imaging, you name it, automobile. All of them come from work in interdisciplinary mode. Suppose you take DNA, for example, there is a physicist, there is a chemist, there is a biochemist, there is a biologist. All of them work together to tell you what is exactly the DNA, right? You take anything like discovery of antibiotics or diabetics, insulin, whatever, the role of proteins in our psychology, our behavior, hormones, whatever touches our lives, all are interdisciplinary. The main my focus, because the too many important points that have been brought about by all the panel speakers, but from my side I want to make just one point very clear, is that if you want the child to enjoy learning, you want to, that is, I mean, relaxed way of learning, and he wants to be alert, that means he is really putting his attention onto that. It's possible only he's trying to solve a problem, is trying to solve the problem in a holistic way. That means he's looking at the elephant from all the directions. The different perspectives are opened up, and different solutions could be there, which are each one is the right solution for the same problem. There is no one unique solution to any problem. There could be multiple solutions, and one of the solutions could be slightly better than other. Sorry, what? Anything is happening. So one of the solutions could be better than other solution, but every solution, if we can create in the schools, whether it is physically or through internet, through technology enabling, also, the students are exposed to that kind of environment, which is again a combination of science and technology or multiple disciplines, including arts, including social sciences. Then those students will have an open mind, and they also develop critical thinking. They develop the ability to synthesize multiple ideas. They should be able to evaluate which one is better and why. So, I mean, there is also a tolerance for ambiguity. When I mean, no particular solution can be exactly so tell this is the thing. Then so that little bit of ambiguity is also there. So respect for others' perspectives and look at it from social perspective, also economic perspective, ethical perspective, not only from science perspective. So this kind of synthesis will help us to give the best possible environment for the student in a flip the classroom kind of environment, where more time is spent by the student in the school in an interactive mode while working on projects rather than listening to lectures. There could be some time for lectures, but there should be a good amount of time spent on holistic learning through in an interactive mode, working on projects, field trips, in the lab and things like that, you know. So my request for all the panel members, educationists, the teachers, and everybody, and obviously teacher will be at the heart of the transformation. And I completely agree with the point that it depends upon the teacher's delivery that makes a difference, not just the content, because content is there everywhere. It is the teacher and their passion and the way they deliver the lecture is what makes the difference between a great teacher and a good teacher. So, having said that, the requirement at this point of time would be able to come out with multidisciplinary projects which will have a great impact on the society. It could be waste management, it could be energy management, it could be green energy, it could be climate change, it could be urban planning, it could be designing on developing some greenery or gardens in an urban environment. So, it could be eradication of, say, diseases like TB or malaria, So, whatever the sustainable development goals are there for the society in the world or in the country or in the state. So, in what way these projects will contribute towards achieving those sustainable development goals? Those projects could be designed by a collaborative effort of many teachers, educationists, and schools, and it is shared across different schools, so everybody will get benefit out of that. Absolutely. And the e-learning platforms and all that could only help in getting the right kind of data, information, knowledge, conceptual understanding from the site, which can be applied actually in the project. And this technology platform should also enable collaboration between different teachers and the peer group from the students within the school or students across the schools, different schools, and they collaborate and they get the answers from their own peer group. I mean, the teachers alone need not answer. It may be they will get the best answer from the some of the students who are bright, and suppose 11th class students may be able to give it the best answer for an 8th class student, right, in a particular subject. So that kind of a peer-to-peer collaboration, I would say would be of great help. With these few words, I will not take too much time. I'm sure there are many more eminent speakers, and I'd like to listen to all of them. Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you,
Kapoor.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Apparently, you have spoken about each and every element of NEP. In the beginning, you said you're not an educator, but your experience and your field experience and your real life experience. You've spoken each and every element, and Dr. Rajput also have very nicely suggested that Simply Science is providing all these modules at its best. So all that you've spoken about experiential learning, about project-based learning, about interdisciplinary learning, the children should be, they should be problem solvers, they should be creative thinkers, they should be critical thinkers. Thank you so much for sharing that, sir, and a big round of applause. Yeah, I think all of us can really, really clap for sir. I think all of us are teachers and we need to learn to appreciate each other. Right. Coming back to the questions, and really, really, I'm very happy to hear sir and his insights. The next set of questions that I have is for ma'am. Ma'am, the next question that I have, is probably just understanding from you what has been some of the challenges that schools have been facing in using the NEP. I mean, this could be a little off track, but I'm sure with your kind of experience, you will be able to give us a lot of insights on that.
Yeah, using the NEP, if we are talking about that.
Yes.
Okay, so NEP has given great guidelines. It has given so many steps to reach the goals that are set, the objectives that have been defined. But the basic issue is decoding NEP, understanding it,
Right.
bringing it to a practical level. That as a teacher or as an educator, what am I supposed to do? How
Right.
am I going to change my classroom scenario? Like, just, I mean, as said by the keynote speaker, that we are talking about project-based learning or integrated learning. Now, this is not a practice which is new, but then we need, as teachers, we need to think, how am I going to bring technology to my aid? How
Right.
technology is going to help me, because it's going to help. Now, to realize that every teacher needs to be digitally educated, and that
Yes.
is a very big challenge, because it's not about knowing how to use technology. It is about knowing how to bring in my pedagogical practices to into the technological aspect,
Right.
not forgetting the objectives, the learning outcomes, being very clear that what am I here to achieve? What is it that I'm going to give it to my learners? So there is a probability that we might get lost in the whole digital world of
Right.
using technology as teachers, and we might just forget that what am I bringing onto the table? For for the matter that when we are talking about blended learning or flipped classrooms, how do we design it? Now, a teacher
Right.
needs help in the whole design process. You can't ask the teacher to sit back and design all these things for herself. So when we were talking about um, the collaboration between industry and the teachers, rather I think I mean, you give any app or any kind of technology, in today's world everybody knows how to use it because we have learned it. We download an app, we start using it. But then as a teacher needs guidance in knowing how am I going to make it effective in my classroom, how is it going to blend into my teaching learning process. And we are dealing with the generation which is far ahead from the teachers in terms of using technology. And they, since they are natives of using technology, we should engage them in an effective manner. Otherwise, there would be, this danger of misuse of technology again. So, keeping all this in mind, I think the teacher needs a lot of hand holding in understanding and decoding NEP. Now, that you can't ask the teacher to do. We need experts from the education sector. We need educationists. We need people who, who have been doing a lot of research on this, people who are behind bringing these kind of policies to kind of help the teacher understand this whole idea, whole concept, that why are we here wherever we are right now. Because as one of the speakers said, that teacher with technology will replace the teachers. Now, that should not be the case. It should not be threatening. It should be that we are scaffolding, we are hand holding, we are helping. We are bringing the teacher up to that level, because NEP is talking about using technology in such a way that you are enhancing your content, enhancing your learning in the classroom. So that's what I think we need to do in terms of decoding NEP. And
Thank
teachers
you.
need a lot
Thank
of
you.
help.
Thank you, ma'am. I think you've used one beautiful word, which is digital native, and I use this word very often, where we say most of us are digital immigrants, and our children today are digital native. So, since we have spoken about technology, ma'am, I would also like to understand from you, how can technology enhance the curriculum delivery? We have also spoken about the flip side, that we need to train, upskill our teachers. But if we have the right kind of technology, how do you think that will enable our teachers to get the best outcomes?
I feel that it will make the life of the teachers very simple, very
Right,
easy.
right.
In terms of, say, for example, now we talk about differentiated learning, like we are, personalized learning.
Yes,
Then we are talking about different kinds of learners in our classroom. We want to address their needs. We want to give them that individualized plan of learning. Now,
right,
if you ask a teacher to focus on three different types of learners in a classroom and then produce the material to keep them engaged in the classroom, it becomes a little difficult for the teacher. Taking the scenario that a teacher is going in and out of four different classrooms, dealing with different levels of students, handling her lesson plans, her worksheets, her question papers, her checking of books. I mean, so many things to do. So in that scenario, there are so many technological aids which come in for the teacher. For example, there is one DFIT for teachers. Now, this is a platform where a teacher can create differentiated learning plans, worksheets, assessments for the students. So she just has to put in the content, what she's going to take in the class, the age group, and also very clearly define what are the objectives and the outcomes. And the help that technology is doing is providing the teacher with all the resources needed to handle all types of learners in the classroom. So DFIT for teachers is one. Another one is TWE, TWEE. Now, this is a AI-powered tool for English teachers. Say, for example, an English teacher wants to give in a listening test or an assessment for the child. Now, instead of doing it in the classroom, if we are talking about flipped classroom, she can give it to the students. She can provide she wants to give a YouTube video, suppose, and ask 5 questions about it. Now, she doesn't have to sit down and write those questions. She just has to ask this AI app that create question for this particular video, and whatever is a learning objective, questions are created. Right. Now, that comes handy for a teacher. And I think teachers need exposure, training, and handholding with specific technologies. And we should not beat around the bush. We should tell them, look, this is what is there for you. If you're an English teacher, these are the tools that are available. Go out and experiment with it. Go out and do whatever you can, do with these, with the age group, with the learning outcomes that is there in your hand, with the content. And that way there are many, like if you take rewordify.com. Now, this is especially for science teachers. Now, there's a lot of content that the student needs to understand. You might have different levels of learners. Now, this platform helps reword a given content or a given concept in science. It will reword it for the learner. Now, that's so simple. Now, when a child has not understood a concept, a teacher keeps repeating that in the same words, in the same phrases, how will the child understand? You need to reword it. And she doesn't have to break her head. She's getting help from the tool. So this way, we need to help the teachers find these kind of tools. And this is where the industry can, pitch in and collaborate with schools, with teachers, providing them these kind of avenues, these kind of platforms where they are able to get easy solutions.
Thank you, ma'am. I'd like to invite Sudhir sir to maybe share and put some light on what ma'am has said. What kind of tools do we have, in Simply Science that could help our teachers or empower or upskill them to use the technology at the right time, at the in the right way in the classroom? Sir? You're not audible. Yeah.
No, I think I was required to be on.
Yeah, so I said I'm just taking the point from ma'am, and I just asked her a question on, how the technology could help our teachers to get the right outcome in the classroom. And she said, yes, we need to enable our teachers in the right way. And she also listed some of these platforms. I want to understand from you how Simply Science is providing the right platform and right kind of tools to help teachers to achieve the right outcome in the light of NEP.
I think as far as NEP is concerned, like I mentioned earlier, it's a blend between past and the future. Right. And in terms of technologies, whether it is AI platforms, whether it is the apps that we have on different stores, whatever the Simply Science platform is offering, it's about enabling and empowering teachers to explore, right? And I'm absolutely in sync with what Saramam just mentioned, that it's about empowering our teachers, and it's about giving them those specific technologies, whether you have the likes of Kahoot, you have the likes of Canva. I mean, Canva is one single platform which is now freely available for the education institutes, where the teachers can absolutely go out and explore their entire sense of creativity. You have platforms like lessons and stuff like that. So those are the activities, I think, if the teachers were allowed to experiment and provided with the handholding and maybe a freedom to kind of explore their own creativity and engage the students in a collaborative learning environment. So that is where I think the overall game changing structures would probably start flowing into the classroom, and that's exactly is the vision of NEP.
Wonderful. I want to hear from the audience. Are they really enjoying this conversation? At least they need to show me a thumbs up. I'm not going to go before I hear a thumbs up or at least some sign from the audience. Are you really enjoying this conversation? Somebody's saying absolutely. See, we are all jantas people. We need to even take feedback from them if they are really enjoying or we are just speaking in. Okay, I'm hearing some thumbs. I am able to see some thumbs up. Somebody's saying very good. I'm a very patient teacher, so I'll wait for everybody to answer.
Something about ma'am's concerns.
Sure, please.
So
Absolutely.
she was mentioning about pedagogical aspects and how this technology-based learning should not lose sight of that, and then how to empower the teacher.
Yeah.
So specific, I mean, that's a very big question, and there could be many answers to that. But from Simply Science perspective, I would say that we try to integrate cognitive learning, in the sense that to reduce the cognitive load, what can be done in the content, and how to use the motivational theory of ARCS, attention, relevance, confidence, and satisfaction,
Right.
and how to bring about the key aspects of constructivist learning theory into this, along with the behavioral theory and brain-based learning. So we focused on these 4 different learning theories and models and try to see how this content can be tailored, presented, to make sure that at least significant aspects of the pedagogy are built into the content. So that's why we have tried to include what is called Explore, which is theme-based learning. First, to bring the attention of the child to the topic, to seek the attention, and then make it relevant through practical real-life applications. For building confidence and satisfaction, of course, the tests and quizzes, puzzles, and other things will always help the student to build the confidence and finally find the experience very satisfying. So we try to reduce the cognitive load also by making the content, try to make it very, no, we call it the 7 C's of content. You must be already aware, at the cost of repetition, I would say that it is like, first thing is we ensure that the content is correct, then it's clear, it's concise, it's comprehensive, it's concrete, it is coherent, and it's compelling.
Right.
So all these 7 C's, we made sure that each and all the topics, content, whenever it is written, we make sure all these 7 C's are taken care of. So that once it is clear and concise and coherent, the cognitive load is automatically reduced, and it helps the student build the schema. In his mind, so that he can quickly recall that schema. So retention levels will be high, and whenever he's trying to address a problem or trying to solve it, he can recall that and apply in problem solving. So that's how the content has been designed and presented to be more engaging and for the student. So to the extent possible, we are trying to take care of these pedagogical aspects in the content. So it's up to the teacher how the teacher is going to use this content and then present in their own format, in their own way, in their own style, in the classroom. That is left to the teacher, because the teacher is the best, because the teacher knows the level of the students' understanding, where they are at that any point of time at the level of learning, and address each and every student accordingly. So, because the only teacher can deliver personalized learning and address the concerns of every student. No site can deliver that. But where the site will be helpful is for the teacher to have a quick review of the content and select the important aspects of the content, which is helps her in actually, delivering an engaging lecture. I mean, this site, this content, I'm not saying it will make sure that you deliver that, but it site can complement your skills.
Right.
And help you in, empower the teacher in becoming a better teacher. That's it. I mean, that's way it is like a tool in the hands of the teacher. It's up to the teacher how he or she uses it. I hope, I mean, this is my 2 cents on this, on the concerns raised by ma'am, Sarah ma'am, and if any questions are there, she can always talk to our team, and then I will definitely try to address them. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think whatever you're saying is absolutely relevant to what is happening in the schools today. You know, when we say teachers have to be upskilled, they should be able to use technology. They might be digital immigrants. Our students are digital natives. Sometimes, in terms of technology, also they would know a little more than what the teacher is would know, right? But it is also an enabler. How can we enable our teachers to use those technology, to use those tools in a very, very effective way, so that all this could be complementing? And I have been asking this to a lot of schools across the globe, and I always ask them, how many of us really wanted to create portfolio for our students? I think most of us wanted to create these portfolio, but today with the help of technology, we could create these portfolios very, very easily, and it will help them to adopt. And there are apps and there are tools and there are techniques which can be used to teach our children in a very, very effective way according to their pace. I want to learn maybe one step lower, and there are apps and tools which will help me to learn one step lower. There are students who are maybe little active, and this could be just because of their age difference. They want to learn one step ahead. There are apps, there are tools which will help them to learn one step ahead. Um, okay, so coming back to the series of question, this question is for Sudhir sir again. In your previous role, sir, what are some of the key challenges that school have faced when they are integrating e-learning platforms? So with your experience, if you could highlight some of these challenges that they have faced.
Well, I think so. First, where I started from, I think I'd go back to that. The first and the foremost challenge in any new technology tool coming in is the adaptation. The very fact that there is a reluctance to change over a period of time is something that becomes an impediment. So that is where I believe the school leadership plays a very important and critical role. Once the leadership is on board, it's the responsibility of the principal or the coordinators or even the management to that certain extent, where you actually try and bring about the relevance, establish the need, and then by Sarah ma'am said earlier, then you need a lot of handholding and guidance to the next line of people who would probably go and drive the entire thing. At the same time, you have other stakeholders in the ecosystem, which are parents and students. So, given the kind of intervention that you have by technology, even in this, in the life of a child beyond school, when the child is at home or the parents are investing in it, we've seen the rise of Byju's and Whitehead Juniors of the world, where the technology platforms are adopted left, right, and center across the country, even beyond the boundaries of the school. So those are the areas I think where the parents involvement also comes into the picture. So in today's time, the entire ecosystem around the child is something that's playing its part. Every stakeholder, every person who's having some kind of a role to play in the life of a child is somebody who needs to be on board, because it's no longer a learning process which is confined inside a classroom. It's the 24/7 process that a child is going through. Even when the child goes back home, most of the learning platforms that we have today are available in the forms of apps and the various devices that are accessible to the children even beyond the classroom. So each of that stakeholder has to play a role, and all those stakeholders have to be integrated. So I think platforms like Senti Science or a lot of many others have now these kind of options where you have all these people collaborating together, right? Having some kind of an input, or you know, uh, maybe their own contribution to a child's learning process, which is basically making it a lot more easy. It's just that everybody needs to be on the same page. Everybody needs to be accepting and acknowledging the need for it, which is when I think the comprehensive approach from all stakeholders' perspective would probably make it a very win-win situation for all stakeholders, and maybe achieve the learning objectives and the overall learning goals that we have for a child.
Absolutely, ma'am. Sarah, ma'am, would you like to add something? Because I want to hear from all the panelists on this, because this has been a very, very important point. You know, all of us have been wanting to adopt new technology, but there are certain challenges that, you know, we are facing. Maybe you could also share it from a leadership point of view. What kind of challenges you see?
Um, I'll build on what Mr. Sudhir was talking about. Uh, the stakeholders, bringing them together. Now here, the digital or the technological, the policies of the school, that really matters. Our policies and procedures have to be
Absolutely.
very
Yes.
well defined
Yes. Yes.
to get everybody on the same platform. So that is
Yes.
one thing. So once our policies are in place, now educating all the stakeholders about that. So
Absolutely.
that's one thing. And I also see that though we are from, I'm heading an international school, still there is this problem of accessibility, whether every learner has similar accessibility, or are we, the equity that we are talking about, is it existing or not? Now that's one big question. In terms of the parents being really clear about the usage of technology, because if you're talking about flipped learning, then back home it has to be taken care of, how much ever we are doing in the school. But either the student has to be very clear about the limitations, or the effective use, and also the parents. Now getting everybody on the same platform is not an easy task. That is indeed a big challenge. And balancing the screen time, that's another issue we have. That once the child is onto the screen, then how do we define what is the best screen time for the child, or how best is being technology used? So all these are challenges which we need to sit together and come to an understanding, where we see that the student is benefited by all the whatever we are talking about, whether
Right.
it is in the classroom, whether it is back home, whether we are talking about integrating, whether we are talking about any kind of teaching methodologies that we are picking up, whatever it is, the student has to be benefited, and the objective has to be met. Now for that, everything has to be crystal clear.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. I think that also brings me to a very, very important point. How many school leaders do we have here? People who are managing the school, be principal, or they own the school. Do we? Can you just show me a raise of hand? Just okay. Yeah, just give me a thumbs up even. I'll have an idea. Because I have been speaking on a lot of forums. Thank you for that, ma'am. And I have been talking about, we all use AI, and our children have started using AI in our schools. We have CBSE, we have ICSE, we have state board, we have, in Delhi schools, you also have some Sahodayas, right? And these are cluster of schools coming together. We are not very sure whether we have a policy about using AI or not. And tomorrow, one of these institutions would come up with some group of policies. And then we would start saying, no, no, they are unfair. They probably don't understand the school ecosystem. Our state is very different from their state. Have we even drafted a policy and suggested something to the government? And I have been highlighting this as a consultant for last so many years, that all of us should get together. We are all educationists, and we need to bring, that's where we need to collaborate things, and platforms like this, maybe Simply Science, could also help us to build this set of policies that we could propose to the government, saying, hey, my child is using, my 3-year-old, my 5-year-old, my 8-year-old. If you ask them to write an essay, they would quickly go to a chat GPT and say, give me an essay on this. Do you have a policy on what could be the guidelines for using the technology inside the classroom, for the teachers, for the parents? I think both Sudhir sir and Sara ma'am have pointed out very, very important point on bringing the stakeholders. I want to hear Rajput sir. and I want to hear Prasad sir, and then I collectively want to give you the insights of what I have also seen in the classrooms and with other schools. But I want to hear both of them, Rajput sir, and then we will invite Prasad sir.
So
Please, Rajput sir.
I ditto with the same part what Sarah ma'am has said and what Mr. Sudhir has said. There has to be a standard operating procedure
Yes,
related to that part, right? And it has to be a complete collaboration of the school. They should not be in the silos. And for that, the management has to ensure and collaborate about it because there has to be uniform acceptance. Either you are in ICSE or in CBSE
certainly,
or whatever it is, right? So I
certainly.
fully agree for this part, and I am to it on that.
Um, Also, sir, if the platform, if someone of you, somebody from you has seen the platform that I am heading now, it's called Schools Alley. I am bringing schools for a common reason. I mean, eventually, what will happen is schools will have to come together. They'll have to start speaking something on something global. Today, we are looking at maybe a cultural exchange program between India or UK or Australia or Germany or France. I am very, very sure a Delhi guy would want to know somebody who's sitting in Chennai or Hyderabad or AP or Telangana or Maharashtra, because everything is new to this guy. And schools now could create projects on that website. Maybe this AI policy, I'll be very happy to have Simply Science on my board, and we could collectively build a policy and just maybe give a framework to somebody and say, please look at this. This is what the schools would have.
What you are
We'll
initiating it, you see in your initial talk, you said that in your platform, you are providing the collaboration part, which is
Yes,
very
yes,
important. It has to be
absolutely,
spread by so many educators who are attending it, who are listening it, so that there
yes,
should be a confirmed way of making the things happen, which is the real
absolutely.
need of the hour.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'd like to hear Prasad sir, and then maybe I'll also add on one or two points. Prasad sir, please.
Yes, sir. Adding to the points, whenever we are uh, inviting the new technology or new tool in the field of education, adoption by the teachers is the biggest concern. Generally, most of the schools are having experienced teachers. So the teachers, they have a feeling, including me as a teacher. Yes, so many years I'm teaching this mathematics or sciences, whatever subject it is. So I don't have those tools so far with me, but I'm successful in my teaching.
Right.
Now, why this is coming as an additional or extra burden for me like that, we start thinking about that. So as other panelists were saying that, yes, SOPs and the policies should be in place. That is one thing. That is okay. But at the same time, we should make the teacher to understand why we are. Suppose if we are the heads of the school or management of the school, why we are taking or welcoming such kind of digital technology in the field of education. That is what we have to explain to the teachers. And continuous motivation is also required for the teachers. And what way these tools will help the teachers to deliver the best. So in that way, if you are able to explain to the teachers continuously, then they will be able to take up this thing. And at the same time, we have to take the feedback from the parents as well as from the students also. And we have to make sure that this technology, how it is helping them to understand the concepts like that. If it is so, if we do in such a way, success is ours.
Yeah, I think, sir, bringing everybody on the platform is very crucial. I've been doing a lot of parent orientation, and I have been talking to parents, and I've just asked them, children do what they see.
Love to do it.
They don't do
Uh,
what they listen to, right? So you will have to be
yeah,
role
yeah,
modeling. You'll have to be role modeling with them, etc., etc. So I think towards the end of this webinar, I want to ask some questions on assessments, right? What innovative
yeah.
approaches do digital assessments have, in and how can it help in maintaining or giving us the rigor NEP 2020 guideline? How is technology helping us to have very effective assessments today? And again, this question is for everybody. I'd like to hear your views on this question, and then maybe about after answering this question for another 5 or 10 minutes, I want to have a Q&A. Maybe the audience could think about the question. They could post it in the question box, and one of our panel speakers could pick that question up. But last thoughts on assessments and how is the technology helping us to get these assessments very clearly for all of us?
Sir, shall I start, sir?
Please, please.
Yeah. See, in assessments, also technology is very much required. Previously, we are conducting just some pen paper examinations and we're giving some marks and we are just closing that examination in the form of by giving report card something else. But
Right.
now, to check the objectives, what are the objectives, whether the objectives are achieved or not, where the children are really able to do well, diagnostic tests, and all others we can do by using the technology. So we can complete the assessments very fastly, and more number of assessments can be conducted. The results can be given to the parents in a proper analysis manner, and that will enhance the teachers' assessment skills also.
Right. Sir, Rajput sir, if you'd like to add something.
Fine. So I don't have much of the idea on this particular part of the making the assessment part, especially in the schools. But I know that especially in the universities and the colleges, right, these things are going to add the creativity part, which is going to help a lot. So I'll just speak on this particular. That's all from my side.
Okay. Sarah ma'am, your views, please.
Yeah, when we talk about assessments, formative assessments can be quickly conducted with technology. Like
Sure.
you talk about a quiz, you talk about an assignment, you get a feedback, and you immediately understand whether your strategy is right or not. And then you kind of, work on your strategy. So
Right.
that's one aspect. Another aspect of assessment is bringing in the higher order thinking. Like we say, I ask my student to write an essay. My student goes and gives a cue to the chat GPT, gets an essay. So let us change our question. Why ask to write an essay? You get an essay from chat GPT as a teacher and ask the students to critique it. Give them questions which will help them better that essay. Give them a task of rewriting it and making it better. So instead of finding that how technology cannot be used or how technology is aiding children and hindering the assessment when we talk about giving assignments and when we talk about research, I mean, let us model our questions, let us plan our assessments in such a way that it is aiding the use of technology. So you could ask them to I mean, as a teacher, just pick up a good essay. I mean, I'm talking about essay because I'm an English teacher. So pick up an essay and then you say you move out all the key words from there, and then give it as a fill in the gap exercise that you fill it. So what are you doing? You're building the vocabulary of the students. Similarly, you can, when you ask them to create questions for a given topic, and then kind of have a discussion, conduct a panel discussion like this. So this is also an assessment for the child. So using technology for a lot of research, helping the child bring in the critical thinking, analysis, evaluating, synthesizing, I mean, all these higher order thinking. I think technology aids it better when compared to our, the probably the classrooms or the
Traditional.
assessments maybe 5 years back or few years back, I should say.
Stay on the mute.
You're on mute.
Mention
Yeah.
here.
To me, it is again personalized learning in the classroom, both for students, teachers, I think everybody across the globe.
It's not seeing
I
that.
have also seen that there are schools with various branches. They'll have 20, 30, 40 institutions that they work around. I think it also gives a lot of beautiful insight. And, all this is in the light of NEP. My one school is performing at this level, the other school is performing at that level, the third school is performing at that level. I think we are all talking about minimum learning level. And technology could be a beautiful enabler for us to understand where is my particular child. I mean, I'm talking about each child in the classroom, right? And when you run a quiz on a Google platform, or you have an app which could be quickly helping you to assess what's happening inside the classroom, and it goes from one grade to another grade, from one branch to another branch, I think it gives you a 30,000 or a bird eye view on where is my school, in terms of one class to another. I think also in terms of my teachers, upgrading them to become facilitators, right? And understanding the technology to its best. They could be making quizzes, they could be doing their assessments, they could be integrating or embedding or blending a lot of integrated learning. Prasad sir was saying, even in a classroom, you could do blended learning. And Sarah ma'am very rightly said, you need to understand in the area where this child lives. You might have beautiful connectivity in the school, but at home, maybe this child has only one phone which has been shared by 4 or 5 people, right? All these perspective keeping in mind, we need to understand that it could be just an enabler for us. But I think things will turn as the time will grow. We will see more and more schools, more and more teachers, more and more students who are adapting to this newer way and blended way of learning. I have another 5 minutes for this Q&A. I hope the audience have started thinking about some of these questions. So it's fastest finger first. We will only take 5 questions, right? I have been given instructions that we need to be very mindful of the
Speaker.
time.
He's speaking.
Uh, yes.
Dr.
So please
Kapoor,
add if, yes.
Dr. Kapoor,
You'll have to press it's on.
Huh?
It's on, sir. It's on.
Dr. Kapoor?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just few ideas I just wanted to share with you.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. And I'll also invite you to show our platform to our audience because we are very excited to see. Your thoughts are welcome. Please go ahead.
See, basically, the fundamental point that I would like to bring to you all is that now in this knowledge age, it's not the finance or the physical assets that are going to be the capital. They are all commoditized. It's the human capital.
Yes.
And India is well positioned to offer human capital to the world. Okay. Even the demographic dividend is very, very high for India. Right now, we are very well positioned.
Yes.
Okay. The human capital doesn't mean it's only engineers from IIT or doctors, okay, who are qualified in NEET. Okay. The percentage of engineers and doctors in the overall human capital in the country is very less. It's not even 10%. Okay. So, if you want to really leverage our human capital, you have to make sure that there, as you rightly said, no child left behind, no student left behind. Okay, so everybody learns to so that he can achieve his full potential or her full potential,
Right.
whatever that potential could be. Okay, in his area of interest. For that, the assessment point that you have been discussing, the assessment, the objective of assessment is not to give marks so that they are ranked in the school or the class, or they get some admission in a big school or something like that. The assessment is to identify the blind spots in the learning process.
Very
What
rightly said.
every
Yes.
student, where exactly the student is stuck in
Yes.
understanding a particular concept. So
Absolutely.
the whole analytics, the assessment process should be able to help us to identify those areas where the student needs help.
Yeah.
So whatever questions you are at the different level, at the macro level, at different levels, the higher level, the next level, should be able to identify exactly where the student finds it difficult to understand that.
Yeah.
So in Simply Science, if I'm not wrong, they tried to do that from macro to micro. They did the segmentation, or what you call granularity. They brought in the kind of questions that they have said. So that based on the questions which are answered correctly or wrongly, the teacher will be able to assess where exactly the student is finding difficulty. So that difficulty can be addressed directly by the teacher. So this is to empower the teacher to address the outcomes, learning outcomes of each and every student, which is the objective of the Simply Science, as a tool to empower and enable the teachers to make their, make the whole experience of teaching rewarding. Okay, they find it more satisfying and fulfilling because they're able to help every student to do better and better. So the assessment goal is not to give marks or rank the students. It is help the students to become better version of themselves. So if that is the goal, then Simply Science will definitely help you through their data analytics and the kind of granularity they brought in the question bank and the answers. I
Sir,
think.
sorry to disturb you.
Thank you.
Not only,
Yeah.
sir,
Please, go ahead.
adding to Sir's point, yeah, the assessment is not only for the students to check, even for the teachers also, whether the lesson is going very well or not, where they can add something more, repeat, revise kind of things can be checked with the digital tools more.
Absolutely. Uh, shall I continue, sir?
And I am done.
Yes, sir, please continue.
Okay. So we want to take just 5 questions from the audience. I hope you have thought of these questions. We have our panel speakers here. They are very excited to answer you. Okay. Do we have any questions, audience? Even if you are slow in typing, we'll wait for you. Okay, then maybe I'll request sir to show us the platform, Simply Science platform, and we will wait for the audience to prepare their questions. I know they'll be preparing their questions very mindfully. So over to you, sir. If you could just share our platform with all of us, and maybe in another 10 minutes we will come back to our audience with a set of questions.
Sure, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Excellent. So I think I would like to thank all the esteemed panelists for a wonderful session. And I would like to echo all the participants, whatever they're saying as well. It has been a very enlightenment in terms of different perspectives and the change which is required and what needs to be taken forward and what needs to be stressed as well. So with that being said, I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Siddhartha. I'm heading the Simply Science platform. And with your permission, I'll just take 5 minutes to demonstrate the platform itself. And I'd also like to echo whatever has been discussed so far. So to just quickly check, can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, excellent. So first of all, thank you so much, Sudhir sir. I think great points on the digitalization and ability to embrace and leverage technology, because what is very, very important in this day and age for all the teachers in the schools is how can you enhance or empower them in ensuring that they can deliver their lessons in the classroom. For that, again to Rajput sir, in this generation Z, the students wanted everything quick and much more engaging. Otherwise, you have lost their attention, right? So in that 20, 40 minutes time frame that you have, how can I actually engage, keep it much more, like MD sir has also mentioned, they are active learning and passive learning. So active learning is what any teacher would like to accomplish. And again, I wouldn't want to over recommend technology as well. So technology should be used uh, 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 quite usefully because in this digitalization age, just because you have technology, you shouldn't be using technology everywhere. Even I'm against that. So, but in a scenario where technology can be helpful, that is exact and can actually empower you to deliver things quickly and also provide you with that guided learning and personalized learning for each and every single student, and also reduce the time a teacher spends on a few things and to increase her or their efficiency, technology has to be used only at those points in time. So that being said, again, for the engagement part, again, Simply Science offers great digital content. And we have good explore where you have real world examples where you can actually bring projects to the table where peer learning and again flip the classroom is one of the things which we are always front ending it, and that's very important. So having technology, you can rather than say I'm going to teach this class today or this subject today, You can enable these such platforms to the students, say, hey, here's a homework, prepare this, use ChatGPT or any other technology you have, and then come to the classroom and then give a presentation, right? And then others will learn from it. And then the teacher can actually be a maker where he'll actually guide as to how the learning process is actually being engaged in the right direction. So Simply Science from classes 1 to 12 and beyond, we do have great content, holistic content. And again, we teach foundational learning. So for example, I'm actually showing you 10th class, and we have all the subjects other than the languages. Because in our country we have so many languages, it's very hard to keep up. For example, I'll quickly talk about human eye. So all of these things are mapped to the syllabus and the curriculum. One of the feedback that we received were that teachers and kids have to be very specific, and it cannot be an open-ended platform. So we ensure that it is mapped to the curriculum syllabus as well as the grade in which they're studying as well. And for what Rajkot sir was mentioning, how can I actually empower my teachers to engage students better, similar to what Sarah ma'am was saying. So along with the content and showing really good examples and images, teachers can actually upload their own content, own links, and all the other things. Like Kumar sir was also mentioning that, yes, everybody's now replacing blackboards with flat panels. So what we are trying to do is not just a flat panel, rather than a teacher going into the classroom and using these technological infrastructure, but how can you empower the teacher with not just the infrastructure, but enable them with much more structured content as well as classroom deliverables, where they can actually use and then enhance it even more, personalized to her children or his children in the class, because they know the kids more than anyone else. So with that being said, we provide a base structure for enabling the teachers, and on top of that, teachers are allowed to customize based on their experiences, their requirements, and what they bring to the table. So apart from this content, we have great simulations which can be used to again engage the child's attention. We have again all the NCRT questions which are available. We have all the question and answers, 1 mark, 2 mark, 5 mark, everything is available for them. We have great videos for all the chapters and subtopics. We have hundreds of videos available, like any other platform in a centralized location. And again, we have presentations, lecture notes for both all the subjects, where even for social, for example, if I talk about some history, graphical images and videos are what attracts and keeps you much more engaging. So delivery is very important, and we try to ensure that these presentations are being provided above and beyond what they already have, above and beyond what they can already upload as a starting point for the teachers. And on top of that, we have worksheets and summary and concept maps and lecture notes. All of these things can be downloaded and made accessible by a teacher to ensure that their lesson delivery is on track and on point, so that they can complete the syllabus in time, because they have so much going on in this day and age, and NEP is asking them to do more and more. So how are they actually valuing the time that has been given to them? That's very important. Now, once a lesson delivery has been done, what is even more important is not a teacher completing the syllabus. It is about learning outcomes. Which child has understood what I have taught, which child hasn't? Because a teacher will teach, and you cannot call it teaching unless and until the students are learning something, right? For that, we are enabling the students with teachers with multiple different, I would say, using the technology, features, and functionality to save their time and also provide that education as per Parak, which is under NEP. So all that type of assessments, granular level things which the teacher needs to have, we are actually providing it in the platform. Let me start off with what again Sarah ma'am has mentioned. How will the technology be able to assist, as well as I think holistic learning, personalized learning. So I think Sarah ma'am actually hit it spot on. And again, accessibility. So how can you ensure that this kind of platform and technology is accessible to one and all? Because there are multiple different personas which are part of our educational system, not just the teachers. There's the school management who ensure that what are the understanding the gaps and trying to fill those gaps. then you have the parents, and then definitely you have the students. So ensuring that such platforms are accessible for everyone, and not just that, we are actually creating a ecosystem within the school, because if you want to learn something, the teacher who you interact with on a day-to-day basis is the right person to actually guide you if you have any questions or if you have any doubts. For that, we provide good communication system. Rather than having a WhatsApp group within the platform itself, you can actually have peer learning. Doubts can be requested by a student to the teacher, and the teacher can respond back to every single student based on what their doubts are. And the messages can also be initiated to their parents or the management or the students themselves or a group of students as well. So ensuring that the ecosystem is intact. Now, again, we also have good technology tools as to where with proper data as to when classes and syllabus has been completed, where does the teacher needs to go back and stress. So at a very high level, what are the topics which I need to take a revision on, which I need to emphasize on? All of these quick data points are being provided by the platform themselves, and they can actually even track their curriculum, what is the syllabus, where they need to teach what. All of these insights are also being provided by the platform themselves. So again, one of the important aspects is test creation and giving homeworks as well, and assessments and learning outcomes are based on the assessments. So we have individual students where you can actually give multiple question papers by encouraging the bottom, as well as, motivating the bottom and challenging the top. So you can have multiple question banks. Or you can actually do a class-wise based assessment where teachers, with a couple of clicks of a button, quickly, if I'm clicking on chemistry over here and I say exam, and the test can be taken both online as well as offline based on the needs and requirements and the infrastructure which is available within a specific school. And I can actually pick and choose all the topics which I actually want to conduct an exam in, and then I can select a list of questions. Again, like we have lakhs of questions, and not just question banks, we also tag every single question as per NEP and Parak based on what is that topic, what is the subtopic that specific question is all about, and the taxonomy, whether it's application oriented, knowledge based, and analysis based, and application oriented. So using these, the teacher can quickly build a question paper, download them if they want to give it offline or give it online. It is again up to the teacher to decide. So with a click of a button, they can create multiple different question papers. And once it's done, quickly preview the question paper, download the question paper and give it to them offline, and then upload the marks, or they can actually do it in the platform itself. Now, once that is done, well, like Dr. Vidyasagar was saying, analytics is very important to guide and navigate the student, not in the school, but what his interests are in his and guide him in his journey of life, where they need to specialize as well. For that, we provide proper analytical data. For example, I actually go to a specific student center. So this is my demo platform, but you actually have multiple reports of each and every single child, their improvement, performance. But with a click, with a small, I would be able to say, okay, if there are 90% everywhere, and in biology, he is having 40% or 30%, whereas physics is having 80-90%. Then you can quickly determine that, hey, this student might not be very interested in taking a doctor as a profession. Maybe he would want to be a scientist. So those kind of detailed deep down can be ensured. And even more details where you can actually look at the drill down on as to where the specific student is lacking, what is his marks scored in a specific topic or a subtopic, and create a simple homework only for that specific student so that they can look at and ensure that they have a strong foundation. So that can be obtained through the platform as well. Again, we have a lot more features. One of the biggest features that we have is proper assessments. For example, I'll search for 10th class and I'll go to one of my question papers where all these things can be taken as a printout and being provided to the parents, the students themselves as well, where you can actually see the average scores and see what to focus on. You can go into the details of a specific student, or like I think Sir was saying in the end, where it's not just for the students, it should be for the teachers as well. So if there's one question where every student got it wrong, the teacher needs to know and see what that question is, and then go back to the classroom the next day and then re-explain that question and see what it is all about, so that she's not leaving anyone behind. So this is where I think technology can actually assist on top of the delivery which the teacher is doing within the classroom. And above and beyond, if even if I got 9 out of 10, using these analytical reports, the teacher can quickly go into detailed feedback where I can say, okay, for this specific topic, I must have gotten 8 out of 10. Rather than saying a good job, you can say, okay, in this loss of reflection, you got 8 of 10, but in this specific subtopic, you actually did not get good, or you're lacking in understanding, or your analysis is wrong for this specific subtopic. So a teacher can quickly create a homework on 5 questions only on this specific subtopic. So with a couple of clicks of buttons, teacher is, with the help of technology, is able to provide that drill down guided learning to every single student based on what they need, what they have understood, what they need to improve on, rather than being very generic. So this is where I think the platform can actually play an important role. So ensuring that, again, 4 things: engaging the students, empowering the teachers, creating an ecosystem, and ensuring that it's affordable and accessible to one and all. So these are the 4 pillars that we actually built the software in. With that, I would like to thank everyone for giving us this time and opportunity to present our product and solution and offerings. And it was a lovely panel discussion, and I had a great joy in learning learning from all esteemed principals and educationalists based on what their experiences are, which will actually help me in enhancing my product and making it even better. I cannot say that my product solves everything, but it is a good start to an extent. So with that, again, Gaurav, I think you have done a fabulous job. And
Thank you.
We would definitely would like to partner with you as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely an honor for me to listen to all of us. And I'm waiting for question. Somebody prompted me that we have some questions. Do you see some question in the chat box? I'm sorry, I was not able to read some questions here. So if we could have somebody from Simply Science team and help us with those questions, or we do not have any questions at all.
I'll check personally, sir.
Yes, Siddharth.
I've not seen any question.
I'm not seeing
Yes.
questions.
Yeah,
Yes.
not seen.
And I think we have requests on providing more
Recording.
details on the platform and other things. But I think one of our team can actually send an email where we can actually take in all the questions, and they can be circulated across all the panelists, so that we can take their responses and appropriately post them, so that it's benefiting one and all.
Okay, the team says we have a question for Sudhir,
Mr.
sir.
Sudhir,
Can you read the question? I'm not able to get the question. I'm sorry. Can somebody read the question for us, for Sudhir, sir? Okay. The learning goals mentioned by Mr. Sudhir at this point are crucial. Skills, attitude, and then factoring in differentiation, nature of tasks for active learning. But then any administrator's willingness for positioning time spent in the school to allow time for creative exploration of the learner areas of interest, not just putting it under the bagless day and assume the aim of NEP is addressed. Is that a question statement? I could not understand. I just simply read it off.
I mean,
that
I
to form Simply Science.
don't know what is the
Yes.
question.
So I just read the comment which was pasted here, but I think towards the end of this session, I am very happy, elated. I'm very excited to speak with all the panel speakers and to have this beautiful participation. Thank you. Thank you so much. All the audience, you've been a great listener. If you have any inputs or you'd like to share just one word for the session, your thumbs up and your smileys gave me a lot of feedback, but a quick session review or a feedback would really be motivating for all of us. And may I request all the esteemed panel speakers to also share their LinkedIn profile with us so that all of us could be connected. Like we are saying, this is the world of collaboration, right? If we could all share our LinkedIn profile in the chat box, we should be connected to each other and looking forward for more collaboration, for more engaging sessions like this. Again, I'd like to thank Simply Science for giving me this opportunity to speak with all the panel speakers and to interact with all the audience. So we've started getting some response, amazing insights from the panelists. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sure our other panelists would also like to say their thank you note. With that, I am signing off. I would just request all the panel speakers to say their signing off note. And I'm sharing my LinkedIn profile. I'll be very happy to connect with all of you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you all.
Thank you
Thank you all.
once again to Vidyasagar sir for such a great innovation. Siddhartha, a lot of learning is there. Thank you to the esteemed panel members, Sudhir Saab, Sara ma'am, Prashad Saab, and all the wonderful people who have joined here, educators who have joined here. And Dr. Gaurav, you are always awesome because you build the things in such a beautiful way. Right,
Thank
we
you.
all keep on learning from you. I think again, every time when we meet, we learn a lot. I personally feel. And we learned a new avenues, we learned a new ways of thinking of the educators and what it can be inculcated. Today, I learned that you have the platform. We are going to combine all the educators or the schools at one particular way. I also learned that Siddhartha, that what wonderfully you are prepared that Simply Science, right? It is really awesome. Believe you me, because I have attended couple of others also. But the way it has been provided, very simple way, where any person will be able to understand and learn. That's why I recollect the word of Mr. Vidyasagar. He said that the education has to be rewarding part, right, for the educator. That's what he said, that in that way, you are really providing them, enabling them to be a rewarded part. So I'm very happy that to be a part of such a elated group where I also learned at the same time, I understand what the things are happening. Thank you so much from my side, and I'm signing off. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you
everyone.
so
Thank you,
much,
sir.
Dr. Rajput and Sri Sudhir, Sri Prasad, Sara Madam, and of course, Dr. Gaurav. Thank you all. Thank you so much for this enlightening session. And it's really memorable and then it's a great learning. And we got a lot of insights from all the panel speakers. Hope the Simply Science team will take those inputs from the panel speakers and then meet their expectations to some extent and by implementing the recommendations to the extent possible. Thank you, Siddharth, and wonderful presentation from your end, and particularly on the assessment side. And I'm sure our assessment in Simply Science is definitely very, very useful to the teachers and to make sure the learning outcomes are as per their expectations. Okay. Thank you very much, one and all, for this great session.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all the good things. Simply Science has made the session as simply superb. So all the panelists and all other members and the team of Vidyasagar sir and all members, they actively participated and given many insights. Thanks for everything. Thank you. I'm
Sir,
signing off.
one thing I just want to, because say I'm a person from marketing, right? So I always keep on thinking what is the new thing is there in that. You have almost 55 of the educators who attended it, right? And if you, I'm sure you must be having the email ID and all. If on every educator or the management people, if you are able to just show cause this thing there with the teachers, I think out of 10, 1 or 2 will be able to grab the thing, which is very important. And Simply Science, because it
Great.
has started coming to me, and I'm sure you must be doing it also, but it has to be spread like a wildfire, which is very, very important. And everybody has to inculcate, because when we are doing this session, we should not be, because again on 20th, another session is there. I've registered myself after seeing the things and all, because again, some new learning is going to happen. But immediately, my request to you as a marketing person, in 1 week of time, tap all the 40, 50 people there, right, educator, and then take their appointment so that you should be presenting it, which is very, very important. And according to the need, because you have the customized need, which I'm able to see, right? And you can put it for them as per the requirement. This is the thing which I can just put it here.
Thank you, sir. I think rightly said so. I think we have another panel discussion
Thank
coming
you
up
so much.
on the 20th of this month. And as a marketing person, salesperson, I would like to say two things. One is affordability of the Simply Science platform. We offer it at 1 rupee per student per day, 365 rupees per student per year. price only access, and teachers, it's available for free. And for the school management, we have all different personas over here. Second is we also help in digitalizing of schools. We also provide very cost-effective touchscreen panels to replace blackboards. And if you purchase a interactive panel with us, we are actually giving Simply Science modules for free for the teachers to conduct their lessons easily in the classroom in an engaging manner. So these are the two things from a sales side, which I definitely want to bring up. And please contact our sales team, our marketing team, if you have a specific requirement or if you want to get into the details of the numerous features and functionality that our platform offers.
Siddharthji, I just adding it in the PGM meeting, you request to the principals like Sarah ma'am or Sudhir sir, they should invite you for that so that the parents should
Yes,
be
sir.
able to understand or the value of this. Because
sir.
once it will come from their side, immediately the school will be accepting it, adopting it, and giving it to the all the things. So this
Yes,
is
sir.
another point I like to request to you, and I'm sure with your request, the principals and the management will be giving you 1 hour of time to showcase your thing to the parents teacher meeting instead of only talking about the marks and all.
Thank you, Rajput sir. Thank you, Sarah ma'am. Thank you, Sudhi sir. Thank you, Prasad sir. Thank you, Gaurav sir.
Thank you.
Jai Hind. Bye.
Jai.
So much. Thanks to Mr. Kapoor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.